Hello, welcome back. Today is a really exciting video. I went on my Instagram and asked y'all what I should pick up at Sephora because I was already going there to exchange this. This is the new reformulation of the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation that ended up being a terrible shade match, and so I went back to Sephora to try and swatch a bunch to find the right one. And it was just a bunch of stuff that surprised me that y'all were interested in the reviews from me. So I picked up what was there from what y'all said, minus one thing which we will talk about. Y'all are actually requesting the Yucca palette quite a bit from Natasha Nerner, so I could pick that up if y'all want, but it wasn't in store yet. The new Pat McGrath blushes, also not in store. I did technically like quote unquote like anti-haul those in my tepid takes, but like I'm not proud. Like, you know what I mean? I'll buy them if you want to see them. I did pick up a bunch of other really cool stuff. So I did actually get the correct match for me. I've already put this on and it is so nice. I also have, this is not Sephora. I just wanted to go ahead and include this because it's time sensitive. It's literally coming out the day that this video goes up. So I just wanted to let y'all know and so you could see it in action outside of my Instagram because I did make a reel about this, but this is the new Jones Road Gel Bronzer. It is so good. And so yeah, I wanted to show y'all that. Here's another one, y'all. This is kind of funny because it's like one of those products that's hard to find because it's kind of being discontinued, I think. It is the shade 20 in the Neo Nude Melting Color Balm for Cheeks and Eyes from Armani. This is not new. By the way, I have gold leaf on my hands. It like won't come off without turpentine, and so that's why it looks really wild. But yeah, this shade 20, it's this cool brown that is like a nude bronzy blush for fair skin kind of thing. And Natalie of My Skin Trust fell in love with this. I also know that Simbri happens to really like this. I think that Hannah really likes this. So the fact that I found one in stock at Sephora, I literally like sent Natalie a video. I was like, is this the one? She's like, buy it. I was like, I got it. I got the goods. And so we're gonna be using this today. Also, this was a kind of interesting request, and that was like, y'all wanted to see the difference between the NARS Dolce Vita liquid blush and NARS Dolce Vita the powder blush. So I bought the powder blush. So we'll be using that today and I'll swatch them for comparison. Another thing, again, this was like something that I didn't really know that y'all were super interested in, but I got multiple requests for this, and it is Coral Sunrise in the Beauty Bento. There are a couple, I think, new colorways of the Kaja Beauty Bentos, and I thought I was on their PR list. I was expecting to get them, but I never did, and that's fine. It's fine. I just don't like to have two of things. And so I went ahead and bought this one, and this is in Coral Sunrise, and it looks to be pretty awesome, so we'll be using that. This is another thing that, I don't know, kind of crossed my plate. This is a very specific shade that's like sold out online all the time, and this is Breathless from NARS. I was just like really surprised by how the requests were not necessarily new releases. It was really interesting to me. And so this is actually, I mean, I guess it's equal parts things that y'all requested and things that are very like rare to find. And I'll go ahead and spoil it here. Y'all never steer me wrong. I've already applied this makeup once and it went on so fast. I'm not even sure I'm gonna have to try and find things to talk about today because we can just talk about the makeup and cut to the chase. Like it's just that easy. All of these things are so easy to use. So let's go ahead and jump in. Megan Sparkle in full effect. I'm gonna start with my sunscreen. We're gonna use the Bloom Effects today. I use this a lot off camera, but I keep it in my bathroom. I've rarely used it on camera recently, so we have a fair amount here. This is such a beautiful sunscreen. I just did a giveaway on my Instagram and I posted it on my community tab here on YouTube as well, but if you missed that and you are interested in the beautiful like tulip-centric skincare and sunscreen and even a little bit of makeup that is made by Bloom Effects, they are the ones who I visited out in the Netherlands to, you know, see the tulip bloom and everything. You can get 25% off on their website with my code, which is just my name, which is khaki. So if you've been interested in their stuff, definitely use my code. Get yourself the discount. So there's that. That's our lovely dewy finish. Now that is going to probably give a dewier finish to the foundation. So I will have to wear this a few times to tell for sure whether, you know, the actual finish of the foundation is different than it was in the original iteration, because I don't know what the finish claim was, but it definitely acted like it was a little bit more matte on me than maybe like the MAC face and body. And this so far does not. Also, this shade match is great. It's just really great. I got so much great mail yesterday. One of the biggest things that I got was a huge box from Kosas that is all of their lip products. Like, I'm not sure if it's every single lip gloss, it might be, but it's every single color in the new lip balm. They call it the wet stick, I think, which was a choice. That was a choice on that name, but I did swatch a ton of those in store at Sephora and I love them. I really, really like the colors. And then they also sent all the new lipsticks because they did like I think they just repackaged them. I'm not totally sure, but you know, I had a bunch of them back in the day when they were still in like the black packaging, and I know that a lot of people really love that formula, so hopefully it's at least comparable and not discontinued. Look at that shade match, it's so nice. That's 0.5N, and it's so nice and thin and lightweight and beautiful and skin-like. I just really enjoy it. On first blanch and now on second blanch, I'm impressed with whatever happened with the reformulation because it doesn't look pasty. There was just something very contrasty about the texture. It didn't look like skin on me, and this looks like skin. Amanda, take note. She loves a good skin finish. Shelby, take note. She probably already knows. And I'm gonna use the UOMA, the newer version of the Stay Woke concealer also with this because it's a very similar finish and just a lot more coverage. And someone did actually ask in my last video when I was talking about this, they said, is it White Pearl T1 or is it Fair Lady T1? Oh my gosh, I did not know that that is how they arranged the titles and, you know, categorization of their shades. I apologize so much for the lack of clarity. It is White Pearl T1 and it is the best shade match I've ever gotten. Look at this. It just like disappears into my skin. And it's like exactly the same color as the foundation too. So it's just a creamier, higher coverage version of the foundation. The Rising Tide raises all ships, and I think that these are both ranges that I feel pretty confident in saying are very, very inclusive, the UOMA and the Dior. So yesterday, my sister had sent some stuff in the mail that was kind of valuable, like some really valuable gifts, and her assistant addressed them incorrectly, and so I had to go to a neighbor's house to like hunt them down. And I ended up parking in the neighbor's driveway that I thought that it was, but then I realized it was actually across the street and like they weren't home anyway. And so I was just gonna like leave a note or whatever. I walked up to their doorstep and all of this is just very odd anyway. Like who wants to do that? Like who wants to do that? So then I crossed the street to knock on the correct door and I start hearing somebody like laying on their horn across the street. And I was like, uh-oh, like that person is like mad at me, I guess, for parking there or something. But like, you know, it's like 5 minutes and it's not like their driveway is like this teeny tiny little one-way thing, whatever. And so finally this guy comes to the door and he helps me like load the packages that were misdelivered to his house like into my trunk. And as I'm like walking up to my car, this woman like barrels out of her house and she's just yelling at me. She's like, why are you in my driveway? What are you doing? And I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, there was a package that was misdelivered and I thought it was delivered to your house, but it's actually the one across the street and I'm so sorry. And I was just, I mean, I kind of took the wind out of her sails that I was as apologetic as I was, but at the same time, like, why are you yelling at me? Like, it's not like I was like, I don't know, like lighting fireworks or something. I wasn't just being blatantly disruptive and destructive. I just happened to be parked in your driveway by literal accident. And that was my neighbor. Like, what? God. Absolutely insane. So like, it just like ruffled me yesterday. There were just so many things yesterday that just ruffled me unnecessarily. So when I got to Sephora and they had one of the Neo Nude blushes in shade 20, you can imagine how much that like made me feel like I had reversed my fortune. I was just like, oh, something great. So one of the most beautiful things about this complexion combo is that like, I don't really feel like I need to powder it. We might just for the sake of like, you know, being able to see what's going on camera, but not right this second. I don't feel any kind of obligation to do that because it's going to dry down on its own. Both of them are, and they go together really well. So I'm gonna do this next because I like it. It's just so good. I've been wearing this like every single day since I got it. They sent this to me over a week ago and it was actually supposed to be on embargo until today, the day that this video goes up, but I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget. I just forgot what the date was. And so I messaged them on Shop My Shelf because Shop My Shelf is the best and you can actually message brands. And I was like, hey, remind me when the embargo date is until. And they said, actually, we just talked to the team and you can post as soon as 8 a.m. Monday morning. Which was awesome. So I'm really glad that I asked so that I could put that reel up earlier because once I work on a reel and I like how it turned out, I just want to give it to the masses. I can't sit on a video. So anyway, this is the shade light. And I also have the shade medium. I will not know until it comes out like how many shades there are total. I just know that there are 2 in my hand. And we're gonna use light. I hope that this impresses me on top of a higher coverage situation as much as it impressed me on top of just like bare skin with SPF on it, because y'all, it was so pretty. It is so pretty. So that is light. And I have also the little brush they sent, and it shears out so beautifully. So it really is about picking your color, not about like necessarily being like, oh no, like it's gonna have a bunch of like opacity to it if I buy the lightest shade or if I buy the wrong shade or something. It's not gonna go gray on you. It is a gel. It is like translucent almost. It just might not show up on you if it's too light, you know, but it's not a risk of it looking ghostly or something. Like, it's so good. This is like a face of makeup. It's just a bunch of stuff that sparks joy. Just a bunch of products that spark joy. God, look at that. It was as easy as it looked in that reel. Like, it's just so easy. I'm very, very impressed. And y'all know that I'm not out and out a Jones Road stan, like, oh, I'm, you know, gonna give all of their products a standing ovation. Like, that's not been the case. Their powder bronzers really confused me. I was like, they're really high pigment for the colors that they chose, because the rosy one you would think would be really good for fair skin, but it was actually like too pigmented for fair skin, I felt like. And so this is a home run. I mean, it's just a home run. Look at it. It looks like a suntan, which is exactly what I want from a bronzer. It took me from base face to looking healthy, like I could just leave the house like this, you know? It really just looks like I've been at the beach and I'm like a little kid, you know? So good. It's so good. Plus, I feel like something about it, it looks so natural that I don't feel like, oh, I just put on a really, you know, contrasty product on my face and now I need to build the rest of my face back in. Somehow it like manages to make my skin look more like skin again. So it's like I don't feel like I have to put a bunch of contour on or a bunch of other stuff if I don't want to. I mean, I can, and I probably will, but like, that's what it looks like. I just really think it's so nice. Okay, so I'm not even really sure that it's necessary to do this because we're kind of putting a powder bronzer on top of a gel bronzer, but I want to use it and I don't care. So again, we have the Neo Nude Melting Color Balm, which for inexplicable reasons seems to be like disappearing in terms of, not disappearing off shelves like it's selling out, like disappearing that like I don't think they're gonna make it anymore. And what a crime. What a crime. I somehow got glitter in mine. That's also a crime. Oh, I know why. It's because when I tried this look before, I also put it on my eyes, which is what it is. It's also an eye color. I'm putting it on a cream brush. I tried both, and I think that the cream brush was better. I love it. It's very subtle, but it is a little bit, it's just a little bit blushy and a little bit bronzery, and just, it's just so nice. So when Natalie bought this, she realized that it was probably being discontinued, and then she went to like every Sephora in DC and tried to buy like backups of it. And I get it now. I get why you wouldn't want to run out of this. Just this combo. It's giving like natural suntan to me. For me, you know. Not everybody. Some people actually tan in the sun. But it is, it's like this perfect kind of in-betweeny bronzer shade for fair skin. And she was wearing it like on her eyes and everything in a video that she sent me of her. And I was like, your makeup looks freaking incredible. And she was like, it's that Neo Nude bronzer. And yeah, when I found it, which I did not think was going to happen. I didn't think that I would get blessed like that, but I like went up the escalator like, I'm a lucky girl. Of course I saw it. I'm a lucky girl. Why do they keep discontinuing great things though, you know? Well, you can see why all these things spark joy for me. And okay, I should mention the thing that I did not buy that I got a lot of requests for, and that is the new blushes from Saie. I have swatched them multiple times and they're so gross. They're so opaque and shimmery, and I have no interest, and I'm so sorry because like I really, really wanted to like the coral one and I wanted to review it for y'all, but like it's just icky. Like when I swatch it, it's so like thick and like gold shifting, and I just was not interested, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just doesn't have enough like a gel quality to it or even a cream quality to it. It just was like paste and just, I don't know. It wasn't for me. And y'all know I do have a chip on my shoulder about Saie, but like regardless, I just didn't think it was very pretty. So I'm gonna swatch this against the liquid blush, the Afterglow liquid blush from NARS in the same shade, because the whole thing, right, was that I was reviewing the Afterglow liquid blushes. Dolce Vita was far and away my favorite shade. I was a little disappointed by the formula, and someone asked, well, is there a possible solve for that in buying just the powder one if the shades are the same? Well, let's find out. Now, if you've never used a NARS powder blush, they are utterly gorgeous. They really are. It was like my first luxury blush purchase I ever made. I remember being at Nordstrom and telling the woman, I have never spent $27 on a blush in my entire life. And it was actually Exhibit A, which is like this wildly intense orange red. And it actually worked pretty nicely on me, but yeah, that was back when they were $27. Here is the moment of truth. Powder Dolce Vita, liquid Dolce Vita. I'll even shear it out so that, you know, they're a little more comparable. They're not the same. The liquid is just so much browner, and the powder one is so much purpler. Why? Why? Why for NARS? Why couldn't you make them the same color? Because I actually prefer that one. It's okay, we've already got plenty of brown on my face right now, and so I think that this is going to work nicely. The one thing that I am a little concerned about is just in terms of like cohesion, whether this is gonna work with like all the coral I'm about to put on my face, but I don't know. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. This is me, I think it'll be okay, you know? So I'm gonna take my BK104 here and just tippy tap. Something that I have noticed, and maybe y'all can like illuminate this for me a little bit, but like I bought a blush palette, like a special edition NARS blush palette from Ulta. It was like an Ulta exclusive last summer, I wanna say. Like look how pigmented that is. And it was not pigmented. I could hardly get the stuff out of the pan. I ended up decluttering it. I was so frustrated. And so I don't really know like what the deal is with their like special edition ones or whatever, because like it was like they were already hard panned when I bought them, you know? But Dolce Vita is not screwing around. Like that's wildly pigmented. And that is actually the case with a lot of their, like with all the powder blushes I've ever used from them, except for that stupid palette. I really thought I was getting a Borgin, but it ended up not being a Borgin at all. That's a lot. My face is gonna eat it, it is. But it is still kind of a lot. But I told y'all, this is gonna come together pretty fast. Like all of the things that might worry us are only going to be brief, because everything happens quickly with these, because we have somehow found ourselves in this like paradise of very, very easy products to use. The next thing in the easy products to use category is the Beauty Bento trio here, again in Coral Sunrise 18. Okay, so this is the first one, and like even though it's the matte-ist one, it still has a little bit of glitter in it, which is kind of cool. And then the medium one is just this like, very similar I think to Orange Blossom. In fact, let me pull Orange Blossom and I'll swatch it next to it, because Orange Blossom's the most similar I feel like to this, and I'm passionately in love with Orange Blossom, yes I am. But then we also have this topper, which is like, they're kind of newer topper style, I feel like. And it's this really, really chunky glitter. It's like the K-Beauty glitter on steroids. That funny, weird, inconsistent, chunky texture, but it is way more committed in terms of the actual pigment in the formula, so. It almost reminds me of like a powder version of like a Rowan shadow, the way that it's just kind of inconsistent and chunky, and then when you kind of push on it a little bit, it smooths out a little more. How about no? Ignore the stain swatch from the blush up there, but those are the three shades. You can see why I might like Coral Sunrise, because the top three here, that's Orange Blossom. So we're very, very similar. Orange Blossom is gonna be more like saturated, whereas this one's just a lot, it's more chill, I guess. And then Peach Madeline has a very chunky topper, but it's more gold, and it does have a full matte in it. Peach Madeline is like way, 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 way less saturated. So there it is, kind of in order of saturation. These three are Orange Blossom, this is Coral Sunrise, and this is Peach Madeline from Kaja. So yeah, let's go with Coral Sunrise. I'm going to start with the matte-ist, you know, the deep one. And I don't think that I need a primer for this. They go on so beautifully. This is just a really, really good formula. The deepest shade here, it's not just brown, it's kind of like red brown, red rosy brown, you know? And I feel like that warmth helps really support the other actors in the trio, obviously, but you know, in their coralness, as it were. I feel like the more I build this color in the outer corner, the better it gets. It's like a color that I'm trying to achieve all the time by mixing colors together, and it's just that color in the pan. Isn't it so nice? And it's, I don't know what it is about this formula, but it just kind of does whatever I expect it to do. I'm gonna take this, well, it's not quite a pencil brush. It's the 209 from BK, and I'm gonna go underneath here, just on the outer third or so, and allow that shadow to build a little bit of an illusion. I'm also gonna build it right there on the lash line, because it is the darkest out of all of them by a lot. You know, it's all about kind of building this to different opacities to achieve what I want to get out of it, because I'm not going to get any other mattes, you know? It is just a trio. Y'all, I'm not sure about that Yucca palette. I mean, it's pretty. It is. And like, it's Tom's colors, and then I saw it on Becca's son, and it's like, for her skin, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like, it just looks so, so beautifully harmonious with her skin tone, with her undertones. But like, I don't know if that's me, either from like a color choice standpoint, or a color look good on me standpoint, you know? Look at how easily those blended. Oh my God, it was too easy. I do still remember how I dragged my feet so hard on trying these, because I just thought that Kaja was just very gimmicky, because a couple of their packaging situations early on were pretty gimmicky, and I misjudged them. I did, because they make some really high quality formulas, and they really get color. That's get color. That's a health album. I swear, my brain like I can't. Anyway, I'm gonna use the beautiful shimmery middle tone, and like, it is just electric, isn't it? Look at that. Ugh. It's really, really fine shimmer. So it's just gonna give you that beautiful textured effect without highlighting any kind of texture on your skin. It's just buttery soft. So, well, silky soft, satin soft. And look how it shifts in the light. It's like orgasm could never. And then I'm using my left paw here because I don't want to get this everywhere. And when I try and do it with my right hand, I get it everywhere. So there's that. Easy squeezy, right? And then I'll take that same kind of stubby brush, like what did I say it's called? The 209. And I'll do the same thing kind of under here. Oh, I love y'all for making me buy this. Coral on brown eyes. Coral on my skin tone in general. I just love it. I feel like I have license to build even more of that dark shade now that I've done that. But somehow it just stays so like pretty and wearable. It doesn't go all the way to drama, you know? I mean, maybe some people would think that that's drama. And then I'll take this weird, you know, chunky, very pale kind of pinky. Actually, I mean, it's not just pink. It's like, if you could see it really in the pan in person, it almost looks like the Guerlain meteorites. Like it's got tons of different kind of pastel rainbow colors in it. I really wish this thing on my eye would just go completely away. I really don't want to have to like go to the doctor and give them like cut it out or something. Whoa, oops. I just laid down way more of that than I thought that I was going to. That is wild. It really does build like a Rowan shadow in the sense that like you can get like a full opacity like flake foil out of it. I don't know if I can get that off of there. Might just have to be the vibe today. Yeah, so if you want a hunky chunky foil, this is gonna give you a hunky chunky foil. It's pretty unpredictable, but it's pretty and unpredictable. I've had to be so careful with this because this is just the shatteringest, and I love this color. And this is Enlighten, I think, from Rare Beauty, and I'm gonna use this as a softer inner corner highlight, you know, because what we need right now is more inner corner highlight. But really it's just that I can't get my finger all the way in on this side into my inner corner. So I wanna like make sure that they look at least somewhat symmetrical, like that. I don't know. And I'm gonna take some of the Neo Nude here on a fluffy brush on a 202. And you know, it is technically an eye shade, and so we're gonna use that to just make sure everything looks really, really beautiful and blended. I'm gonna wise up and wipe my brush off because I ended up getting glitter in my blush. Ooh, boy, I can't say enough about this little Neo Nude number. I'm telling you, you're not gonna be able to find it online. Nope, you're gonna have to go hunt around at Sephora to find it, like in person or at like a department store or something. We are experiencing, I mean, I have it powdered, remember? So we are experiencing a little bit of contrast to an undesirable degree underneath my eyes. So I'm going to do what I usually do, and that is just powder a tippity touch. And then I'm going to use the Victoria Beckham Matte Bronzing Brick, the lighter shade in the Duo, and bridge the gap. People seem very fascinated by that technique, and I am happy to continue to demonstrate it for you. We also don't have any contour on. So VB, light shade here, really helps break up that contrast, change the way the light hits. Voila. And then I will use my Natasha Denona contour sculpting powder and just do a little bit of this. Could have done it with a cream, you know, but I just wanted y'all to see the bronzer and everything in all its glory. So we are looking very cute. I told you my cheeks were gonna eat that blush though. And I mean, not in a bad way. Like, I knew it was just gonna kind of mellow out once I got everything else on. Okay, I'm gonna do my eyeliner and my brows and my mascara, and then come back and we will put on this here lip. Looks. It's making me really, really happy. I feel like maybe I don't have enough blush on my forehead. The good news is we can always put on more, like this. Somebody commented recently, every time I put blush on my forehead, they think of the story of when Kelly Gooch saw me put like big blobs of blush on my forehead, and she goes, "Is that gonna turn out cute?" And I also think about it every time, so you're not alone. Okay. So this is kind of important to me. It's just so funny because I saw it in Blue Mercury and I didn't buy it. And then I went online to buy it and it's just nowhere to be found on Sephora. And it's the shade Breathless from NARS. So it's this beautiful orangey coral. And it's something that I've really been in search of, is a desaturated orange that's like not pink, you know? It's a dreamsicle kind of color. The one thing I'm not sure about is actually the formula. It's so slippy. Like, I want to be like Hannah and like massage it into my lips and like stain them, but that's just not what this does. But I feel like I'm maybe overanalyzing it. It's beautiful. I like that it kind of washes my lips out a little bit, but it feels so slippy. Like, I'm really, really aware of it. But there's something about the way that even though Dolce Vita is nowhere near coral, it kind of mixes with all the browns and everything and looks at home with this coral eye look and the coral lip. You know, the color story just kind of still works. But I think that the main thing is I don't find myself doctoring this as much as I do and have with some, you know, recent looks that I've done, because I just feel like each of these really carries its own weight in such a nice way that, you know, I don't have to kind of compensate or mix it with anything or adjust too much. So there's the kind of up close look. Remember when we used to do like, well, I don't think I ever did it, but like the beauty shots, you know, where it's like you'd start the video out and you'd be like, I could never stand myself long enough to do that, but I will kind of get close to the camera in like a reels or something with like music and stuff. I don't know why that's different, but it's different for me than like the old, I mean, you know, it's just like, I just couldn't do it. Anyway, let's chat about these products real quick. I want to give this like 5 out of 5, you know, 2 thumbs up. Like, it's just, it's looking really, really good, especially for Dior face and body. You want it to look like skin. And I feel like this truly looked like skin when I put it on in like the most beautiful way. I also think it really helps that I got a great shade match in it. And maybe it's going to be helpful for y'all to actually go in store and get shade matched, because there are a lot of shades, which is good news. So anyway, I personally really adore it. And It is fragranced, but it's nowhere near as fragranced. It's not that overwhelming, like kick you in the face fragrance that the first one was. I just think that it's a way better amount of the smell. It's like you really have to get in there to try and notice it. It's not something where when you're putting it on, it's like Gucci or something where you're like, oh my word, you know, you either love it or you hate it kind of thing. You can ignore it. Like if you don't love it, then you could easily ignore the smell. It's really, really not overwhelming at all, at least not my bottle. Now, I mean, like I said, in the grand scheme of Jones Road, y'all know, I am more of a fan of Jones Road's sophisticated, more like makeup style products, her formulas that behave more like makeup that you would, you know, be relying upon to have like a dry down, for example, right? And it's not that like skincare first, what is it, what the foundation, miracle balm kind of thing. Like she seems to have two sides to her brand right now. And one is kind of that no makeup, I don't care if it dries down, it's just sort of like a feeling as much as it is an appearance kind of thing. And then there's her stuff that really performs. And this performs, I'm so happy to say, because I mean the bronzer, the powder bronzer does perform, it just wasn't my thing. This is my thing. Like it was just like love at first application. I just adore it. It's so easy to use. And I hope that when it comes out there are enough shades, you know, I have no idea, but the gel factor is just everything. It's got such a gorgeous translucence to it, and like now I have proven to myself that I can wear it on basically like bare skin, quote unquote. You know, I'm always wearing like SPF, but it also works really well on top of Dior face and body. So, you know, we'll keep pushing the limits and stuff like that, but I definitely, I mean, this is like awesome. It's just great. This is just a full face of things that I really enjoy. Again, you're not going to be able to find the Armani Neo Nude like online probably in 20, but if this excites you, look, you know what it looks like? It looks like my khaki lip liner. That's what this looks like to me. It's just that beautiful, perfect, neutral, kind of like slightly desaturated mocha brown. Yep. That's real good and I like it a lot. And the formula is this weird kind of like velvety hybrid finish. So it's like a cream kind of powder, kind of, you know, melting sort of thing. And I just really enjoy it, but you're gonna have to go on a hunt. Tag me on Instagram on your stories if you find it, because I just want to celebrate with you. Me and Natalie will be really excited for you. It is disappointing to me that NARS Dolce Vita is nothing like the liquid NARS Dolce Vita. I really think that they should try and reconcile that somehow, because I don't totally love those liquid blushes because they don't really stick around for very long. And it would be really cool if this Dolce Vita pulled a little bit browner. That would be cool if you did. So yeah, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. I do really like it, and I like the pigmentation quality of it. I've always liked the pigmentation quality of a NARS blush that's in a single pan. The Kaja Bento, it's not completely dissimilar from their other Bentos, but it's kind of right there in the middle in between Peach Madeline and Orange Blossom in terms of like overall saturation. And you do get this like funky, chunky glitter on top that, you know, it's up to you whether that excites you, but it does look exactly like that on the skin. That is the consistency of it. It's this interesting kind of like pale unicorn skin sparkle thing. And I happen to really, really enjoy these too. Like I will use those again, absolutely, definitely. And these are just so great to travel with. And then like I said, like gosh, the component on this is beautiful. The shade is gorgeous. And I mean, now I guess I'm a little more comfortable in it. It just takes a little getting used to. I'm used to things that grip a little bit more than this, and it's just a little bit slippy. It's not a completely uncommon formula, but it is like comfortable enough once I get used to it, and it's worth it to me because the shade is just so unique. It's just such a good on the nose kind of like orange sherbet color that makes me really happy. So yeah, I mean, even though it is probably like the one with the most caveats in the entire video, this is all like full home run. It's just a home run of home runs. So it's a grand slam. Sports! Anyway, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like this face of makeup as much as I do. Thank y'all for watching. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not already, and I will put a video up here that I think you're going to enjoy if you liked this one. I love y'all so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!